Last week, this quote came down from the CEO of KC Common Good, a nonprofit in Kansas City, where Classy Alcine was asked by Fox 4, how much money will it take to fix crime in Kansas City? Here's what that sounded like.
How much money do you think we're talking about?
Billions.
Is that possible?
100% possible. Other cities have done it.
Billions of dollars to fix crime. Yeah, I mean, we have spent billions and billions of dollars over the years, and crime has gotten worse based on the numbers. But for those that are looking for handouts, it's always about the money. Show me the money, as Jerry Maguire famously said. Patrick Tuohey is with the Show Me Institute. He's on KCMO. All right, Patrick, how many billions is it going to take there, big guy?
It's good to be with you. I have so many problems with that statement and with other statements that were made at that Union Station event. It's frustrating because so many people in Kansas City, we want to do the right thing. We have taxed ourselves generously to fight crime, and we don't know. Well, I shouldn't say that. I was going to say we don't know if any of it is working. We do know that some of it didn't work.
Yeah.
And when you lead the policy discussion with the price tag, that's just bad public relations, because we don't know what this new endeavor is going to involve. They put out a pamphlet, they reference a lot of the previous efforts, but I'm skeptical. I really am skeptical. I think it's perfectly fine for the people of Kansas City and Jackson County to be skeptical, because nothing before has worked. And the dismissiveness with which they treat skeptics is not promising. I don't know what they're going to do with billions of dollars. We don't know what Combat does with its millions of dollars.
What's Combat?
Doesn't even.
What's Combat?
Is the sales tax. It's a sales tax in Jackson County that goes to. It's a big bucket of money that the county hands out to all these anti-crime or post-crime programs, and they give out lots of grants, but they don't measure any impact.
Well, they're not doing crap. Just say it like it is. The homicide numbers have hit record highs 2 of the last 3 years, and this year homicides are down, but non-fatal shootings are up like 15%. So that just tells me the criminals are missing. These people, I mean, God bless them. I think their hearts are probably in the right place, but why are we giving them more taxpayer dollars? When do results matter?
Well, that's exactly the question. And when I find out that Combat or other organizations aren't even set up to measure impact, I'm beginning to think that there really is, that nobody knows what they're doing. And it's just, it's kind of panic spending. And one other thing that the documentary that KCPBS ran kind of underscored, and it's something that I've been frustrated about for years. In Kansas City and the 360, KC 360, or the Kansas City United for Public Safety are part of the problem, is that the effort to solve crime is so diffuse. So many different organizations, including the prosecutor's office and the police and all these nonprofits, that when the effort fails, it's impossible to hold any one person accountable. If you watch that documentary and you watch the success that Omaha has had, there is clearly one person who has dedicated their life to overseeing all of this and delivering results. And we don't have that in Kansas City. Everybody from the mayor down wants to point to somebody else. And so you can have these press conferences, you can have these new initiatives, you can spend a bunch of money. When they don't deliver, nobody is held accountable. And that's just a systemic problem in Kansas City.
Well, people in the mayor's office, the mayor himself may say, well, of course nobody can be held accountable because we don't have local political control of our police department. We have this state-appointed board of police commissioners.
Okay, so this is a morning family show, so I will edit my response, but that is absolutely bull. When Quentin Lucas was running for mayor, He said that he wanted to drop homicides under 100 a year. Now, he knew that the mayor did not control the police department at the time, but he still made that promise because he understood to get elected, the people wanted to hold somebody responsible for crime. And when he was elected, he has since, first of all, wildly failed to meet that goal, but made the promise again as part of this new initiative. So again, they want to say I'm in control when it's campaign time and then run away when they're actually governing. Mm-hmm. And the fact that he tried years ago to defund the police, and more recently when he increased salaries for police, demonstrate what I have been arguing in the pages of the Kansas City Star for years now, which is the local control argument about the police is a complete red herring. The state does not control the police department. Governors of either party never care about what's going on in policing. They appoint people, they appoint local people who serve on the commission. The mayor is a member of that commission, and nobody in Missouri has more power over Kansas City policing than the mayor of Kansas City. They want to run away from it. They want to pretend like they don't. But Quentin Lucas has demonstrated at least twice that the power of the purse over the police department is sufficient to drive policy changes. But he wants to hide behind the local control argument, which, again, I think is not only a red herring. I like the model that we have in Kansas City. I think more cities should adopt it. And in short, what that means is because the mayor doesn't decide who the police chief is, the police department is independent of City Hall. And that is something you want in a city. You do not want politics getting involved in policing.
Patrick Tuohey is here with the Show Me Institute. So you referenced it earlier, but I want to end the conversation on the Kansas City PBS documentary, A Tale of Three Cities, that you recently viewed, and it was hosted by the Kansas City Chamber of Commerce. So what can we learn from that in terms of how to improve things in Kansas City, Missouri? And the background of that documentary is what?
So Michael Price, who put together the documentary, looked at Kansas City, Kansas, which has had some success with policing, Kansas City, Missouri, which has not, and Omaha, Nebraska, which has been wildly successful in its campaigns. And so I think the immediate lesson is cities have faced this and faced it down and been successful. I think the larger lesson is you have got to have somebody held accountable. Otherwise, you end up with what we have in Kansas City, which is years and years of failure and nobody accepting the blame.
Well said by Patrick Tuohey on KCMO Talk Radio 95.7 FM. And you mentioned also Omaha. Everyone looks at Omaha and says, look what they did with their homicide numbers. They drove them down to the ground. Is there anything to actually learn from that, or are we just two very different cities?
Well, we are similar. Demographically, we are similar in the past. Our crime problems have been similar. They did spend an awful lot of money. They did renovate a lot of their version of the East Side. They did build a lot of opportunity. I think that is welcome. I think it is glaringly missing in Kansas City, despite all the talk. I think we could re-engineer our economic development programs to work. But what we have here is just tax people, spend the money, and nobody is held accountable. And it will never work until we rip up this system by the roots, put somebody in charge, and demand results from them.
Patrick, thank you as always, my friend. We appreciate you, and we'll talk to you soon. Have a great day.
Thanks so much. Take care.
Patrick Tuohey on KCMO Talk Radio 95.7 FM.